Jubilee Center for Medical Research had its humble beginning in 2014 and quickly gained recognition from DSIR in 2015. Our animal research facility was also recognized in the same year. The Ethics Committee gained approval in 2016. By 2017, JCMR was recognized as a research center by Kerala University of Health Sciences and registered with Niti Aayog. Achieved income tax exemption under Section 35(1)(2) in 2019 and gained CSR approval from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in 2021, highlighting its commitment to social impact. Our research specialty lies in translating clinical problems into innovative laboratory solutions. One of our key initiatives is the Cleft Lip project dedicated to identify the root cause of orofacial clefts. We also work on the concept of blood liquid biopsy by studying and profiling the extracellular vesicles in the lung and breast cancers. Cytogenetics and Genomic Laboratory conducts genetics and epigenetics research on disorders of sexual development, PCOS, hematological malignancies, breast cancer, and rare genetic disorders. In 2019, our team has reported a novel missense SRY mutation gene in a female patient with 46XY karyotype. Phytochemistry Laboratory has recently reported 4 novel flavonoids from Carica papaya. Our team also discovered 2 candidate biomarker proteins in diagnosing different phenotypes of COPD. We are also equipped with immunofluorescence facility to detect autoantibodies in blood and CSF associated with neuroautoimmune diseases. The Laboratory for Computational and Structural Biology is focused on solving complex biological problems through in silico, in vitro, in vivo, and structural biology analysis. We are designing and evaluating novel progesterone receptor modulators as potential drug molecules for uterine fibroid. We are also working to repurpose traditional medicines for Alzheimer's treatment. Additionally, we study protein aggregation mechanisms and phenotypic-genotypic relationships of Ayurveda Prakriti to advance drug discovery. We foster collaboration across disciplines, tackling complex medical challenges. JCMR has MOU with different institutes of national and international importance. Jubilee has completed 58 externally funded projects and there are currently 17 ongoing projects with a budget allotment exceeding 7 crores. As we have completed 10 years of remarkable achievements, we invite you to explore the endless possibilities of innovation and collaboration with us, powered by dreams and driven by a mission to transform lives. JCMR is a place where research transcends boundaries and redefines futures. Join us as we continue to pioneer solutions for a healthier tomorrow. At JCMR, we don't just dream for a better world, we create it.
Jubilee Mission Medical College, a movement of healing. What began in 1951 as a humble dispensary has grown into one of Kerala's most respected and trusted healthcare institutions. Jubilee Mission Medical College, where tradition meets trust and hope meets healing. Our mission is simple yet profound, transforming lives with love. Our vision, bearing witness to Christ the Healer, we strive to be a whole leader in clinical outcomes, patient experience, medical education, and research, all grounded in Catholic ethics and affordability for every patient. Founded to serve all sections of society, Jubilee is known as the poor man's hospital, where even the most complex trauma and critical care cases are handled with dignity and expertise. From 20 beds, we have grown into a 1,500-bed tertiary hospital and a national center of medical excellence. At the heart of Jubilee lies clinical excellence with a human touch. Our advanced critical care ecosystem includes world-class Neuro ICU, ICCU, Burn ICU, and Vascular ICU, delivering 24/7 emergency care with real-time monitoring, state-of-the-art system, and highly trained multidisciplinary teams. We now house 40 plus clinical departments including cardiology, oncology, endocrinology, psychiatry, urology, and plastic surgery.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to all. I am Gilda Sylvan, and alongside me is Sharon Joseph Pandokan. We will be your hosts for Pelecanus 2025. Before we begin, I kindly request everyone to switch off your mobile phones to silent mode to ensure an uninterrupted experience. Please take your seats and settle down at the earliest, as our esteemed guests will be arriving shortly and the program will commence soon.
A warm good afternoon to one and all present here. With great joy and pride, we welcome you to Pelecanus 2025, a program that holds a very special place in our hearts. Gilda, have you ever wondered why was this program named Pelecanus?
Well, I've heard of the bird pelican, but is that the reason?
Exactly, it is. The pelican's story of self-sacrifice resonates deeply with our values. Just like the pelican is said to pierce its own breast to feed its young with its blood, our honorees embody similar selflessness and dedication.
Beautiful. I think that symbolism fits perfectly with today's awardee and also the founders of this excellent initiative.
Yes, and this year we have gathered for Pelecanus 2025 to honor yet another selfless personality, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurubachan Singh, for his remarkable missionary work at Evangelical Mission Hospital in Odisha. Hope our dignitaries will join us soon.
It is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to everyone present here today for Pelecanus 2025. We are honored to have you with us as we celebrate the spirit of selflessness and service.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to have among us our distinguished dignitaries, esteemed guests, and a respected awardee. I kindly request you all to join us in extending a warm welcome with a big round of applause.
It is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to everyone present here today for Pelecanus 2025. We are honored to have you with us as we celebrate the spirit of selflessness and service.
I kindly request everyone to please take your seats.
Instituted in 2022, Pelecanus was envisioned as a tribute to two towering figures who shaped our journey, our Reverend Founder Director, Msgr Mathew Muringathery, and our beloved Dr. H.S. Adenwalla.
Their vision, dedication, and selfless service continue to inspire us, and in their honor, it was decided that Pelecanus would be celebrated every year as a reminder of the values they stood for and the legacy they left behind. So let's take a look at the screen for a moment to know more about Monsignor Mathew Muringathery and our beloved Dr. H.S. Adenwalla.
Monsignor Mathew Muringathery is the founder director of Jubilee Mission Hospital, Thrissur. He was a visionary and compassionate leader whose tireless efforts transformed healthcare in Thrissur. Born on June 6, 1902 in Vellore, Thrissur district, to Lonapan and Elia, he began his early education at St. Xavier's UP School, Vellore, and St. Thomas High School, Thrissur. Following his calling, he joined the Top Minor Seminary in Thrissur and was ordained a priest on December 17, 1929 by Mar Francis Varapilli, Bishop of Thrissur. In 1951, his life took a pivotal turn when he was appointed director of the Sacerdotal Silver Jubilee Memorial Hospital, which later became Jubilee Mission Hospital. Under his leadership, a small dispensary with just 4 rooms, 20 beds, 2 part-time doctors and 2 nurses grew into a beacon of hope and healing for the region. It was the only private hospital in Thrissur at that time, catering to the needs of the community, especially the underprivileged. Monsignor Mathew's vision extended beyond providing medical care. He instilled a culture of service, ensuring the hospital remained a haven for the poor while expanding its specialty clinics. His farsightedness and relentless dedication created a healthcare legacy that transformed lives with love and compassion. Even after his retirement in 1988, his influence on healthcare in Thrissur remained profound. He slept in God. On December 17, 1994, Monsignor Mathew Muringathery's commitment to building a healthcare institute for the people of Thrissur and his unwavering belief in transforming lives through service will be remembered for generations. His life is a testament to what faith, love, and vision can achieve.
When you repair a cleft child, it is like throwing a smile in a pond. You see ripples of smiles all over. The day is short and the work is long. The day is short and the work is long. And the Master prays it. It is not incumbent on thee, it is not incumbent on thee to finish the task, but thou must not therefore cease from it. Thank you.
And that was a glimpse about our Reverend Founder Director, Monsignor Mathew Muringathery, and our beloved Dr. H.S. Adenwalla. This year, we have gathered for Pelecanus 2025 to honor yet another selfless personality, Dr. Ajit Ronal Gurubachan Singh, for his remarkable missionary work at Evangelical Mission Hospital in Odisha. We are also privileged to be graced by the esteemed presence of Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament, who hardly needs any introduction. A distinguished statesman, author, and orator, we eagerly look forward to his valuable insights and engaging presence.
Let's now come together and begin the official ceremony by invoking Lord Almighty's presence. I request our beloved Sisters of Jubilee family for the prayer song. Let's all rise for the prayer song.
നിത്യവും സത്യമായി ഞങ്ങൾ തൻ ചാരത്ത് നിഴലായി നിൽക്കുന്ന ജഗദീശ്വര അലിവിൻ കണങ്ങളും അറിവിൻ കണങ്ങളും അടിയങ്ങൾ കേകണേ തമ്പുരാനെ നിന്നെ വാഴ്ത്തുന്ന നാവുകൾ നൽകിയും നിന്നെ കേൾക്കുവാൻ കാതുകൾ നൽകിയും നിന്നെ സ്മരിക്കുന്ന മനസ്സുകൾ നൽകിയും ഞങ്ങളെ കാക്കണേ ലോകനാഥ നിത്യവും സത്യമായി ഞങ്ങൾ തൻ ചാരത്ത് നിഴലായി നിൽക്കുന്ന ജഗദീശ്വര അലിവിൻ കണങ്ങളും അറിവിൻ കണങ്ങളും അടിയങ്ങൾ കേകണേ തമ്പുരാനെ അടിയങ്ങൾ കേകണേ തമ്പുരാനെ.
Thank you, sisters. I request Reverend Father Rennie Mundinkurian, Director of Jubilee Mission Healthcare and Educational Institutions and Secretary of Jubilee Mission Hospital Trust, to welcome the gathering.
A very loving good afternoon to you all. It's a joy and privilege to welcome you to the fourth edition of Pelecanus 2025. It's not just an event, but a reminder of who we are and why we exist. Since there are people new to Jubilee, just a bit. We saw the video, the background we saw, but just a bit. I think it will not be much. 1951, we started the journey of Jubilee. When we finished 74 years, entering the 75th year, we are really proud to present the situation, the stand of Jubilee now. It was started by, for the memory of the Jubilee, Silver Jubilee of then Bishop Mar George Alapat. There comes the name Jubilee. Many don't know where the name Jubilee comes. And it was started to help better treatment with low cost as far as possible for the poor people. It was known as the poor man's hospital. We are still known lovingly and proudly the poor man's hospital. we have expanded, but we have not abandoned our soul. We were born as a mission, and we remain a mission. And the word Pelecanus, many are asking why do we conduct Pelecanus every year? Why invest so much time, energy, and effort into it? What does it truly mean beyond the lights, speeches, and stage? Many have asked me these questions. And today, you will leave this hall with an answer. It will come slowly. The word Pelecanus comes from the legendary bird who took her own blood to feed the starving children, the life-saving symbol of the humanity. It's a legendary bird. And when we celebrate today, 75th year, we look back and understand who all were there, sacrificed their lives for the poor people, especially two people we today remember. That is the founder director, Msgr Mathew, Muringathery, and the 60 years old service, Dr. Adenwalla. That's the simple introduction. It will come in detail the history of Jubilee slowly. So let me begin by welcoming you all to this function. Let me begin by welcoming our chairman, the guiding light and strong pillar of Jubilee Mission, His Grace Mar Andrews III, Archbishop of Thrissur. We are blessed by your presence. Now I request Dr. D.M. Vasudevan, the B.C. Royd Award winner from the President of India and a proud Director of Jubilee Research. Welcome, sir. I also warmly welcome Mar Tony Nilangavil, the Auxiliary Bishop of Thrissur, who has always been a supporter and mentor to Jubilee Mission. Thank you for taking time, for continuing your encouragement. I request Dr. Sushila, the head of the Jubilee Mission Allied Sciences, to welcome Mar Tony Nilangavil to this function. We are privileged to have with us today Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament, a statesman, a scholar, and a global voice for India. Your commitment to knowledge, leadership, and service aligns beautifully with our values. I would like to add a personal note. I was in Rome for higher studies. It was in Italian, and learned German as a hobby. And later, our Pidav wanted to send me to Germany. Before going, I was in Thiruvananthapuram to refresh my German. 17 years ago, and not one or two, but many in Thiruvananthapuram asked me, "Are you brother of Dr. Shashi Tharoor?" I don't know whether you believe or not. I was more handsome, and I had more hair. I don't know how do you feel now, but I am really happy to welcome brother, the people of Thiruvananthapuram, to Jubilee. His second time in Jubilee. He was in 2007 to give a oration to our MBBS students. That was, I think, the education beyond syllabus. 18 years ago, he was here in the same hall, but another look. We are happy that our dear Dr. Shashi Tharoor is here. Now, I invite Dr. Mrs. Gulnar Adenwalla, wife of Dr. Adenwalla, to welcome Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Gulnar Auntie, please come forward. Joining him are the Mr. Srinivasan Krishnan, a dear friend and associate of Dr. Tharu. Mr. Srinivasan was also an instrument to get Dr. Shashi Tharu to us. Also, Mr. Praveen, his private secretary, are here with him. Hearty welcome, the team of Dr. Shashi Tharu. I have the joy of welcoming the recipient of this year's Msgr Mathew Muringathery Healthcare Missionary Award, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh. The detailed introduction will be coming later, so I don't go into the detail who he is, how inspiring his life is. It will come later. His life work will inspire us. Now I request Father Paul Paramangal, our Associate Director, to welcome Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh to the mission. Welcome to you, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh. With him, a lot of relatives and friends are there, especially with his right part, Dr. Pushpa Singh, his wife. Hearty welcome the family members and friends of Dr. Ajit. There are two more families among us. There is the family of Dr. Adenwalla, guided by Gulna Andi. The whole family has taken time to come here. We thank them, and in the name of the Jubilee family, welcome to this grand function. There is also presence of the family members of Msgr Mathew Muringathery. Four of them have taken time. I say hearty welcome to the family of our beloved founder director, Msgr Mathew Muringathery from Vellore. Hearty welcome. The rest are we. I don't go all the name, but the family members, the fraternity members, advisory board, also honorary directors, especially I have to say T.S. Kalyan Raman, the director of the Kalyan Group, Dr. Nandakumar, the managing director of Manappuram Group. They have taken time to come here. So special welcome to you all to this function. I welcome the assistant directors from the managing team, Dr. Benny Joseph Nilangavil, our CEO, Dr. P.R. Varghese, organizing secretary for the Pelecanus 2025, Dr. Shibu C. Kalivalipil, our medical superintendent, Dr. M.A. Andros, our principal. They will be blessing the stage with their presence. There are other family members of Jubilee, starting from the nursing superintendent, the deputies, all are there. Hearty welcome to you all. Let us continue to shine that light as our founders did. Thank you. Welcome you all to this function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father. A hearty welcome to you too to this gathering.
So let's start with the first segment of this program, Dr. H.S. Adenwalla Memorial Oration. At this juncture, I have the honor of inviting our esteemed CEO, Dr. Benny Joseph Nilangavil, to kindly take the stage and formally introduce the oration and the orator.
We have the Honorable Member of Parliament, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, to give his insights on the missionary concept in healthcare in the era of corporate presence. I request you, sir, to the stage. I request Mr. Joshi Paul, General Manager of Human Resource Department of Jubilee Institutions, to accompany him onto the stage.
His Grace Mar Andrew Starrett, the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, Archbishop of Thrissur, and our beloved chairman, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Dr. Ajit, Auxiliary Bishop Martoni Neelankavil, our beloved director, Father Rennie, members of the family of Dr. Ajit, Dr. Adenwalla, our advisory board members represented by Vijay Kumar sir and others, our honorary directors, fraternity members, Reverend Fathers, all the invited guests, and my dear Jubilee family members. A pleasant good afternoon to all of you. This afternoon, I feel deeply honored and privileged to stand before you to introduce the oration and the orator. This event is not just a talk and an award. It is a celebration of Jubilee Mission's collective commitment to missionary healthcare, a concept that forms the very heart of our professional journey over the last 7.5 decades. Over the last 74 plus years, Jubilee has grown into a true multi-speciality institution with almost all tertiary care facilities. Equipped with advanced medical services, modern infrastructure, and cutting-edge technology. All my siblings, including my son and I, were born in this hospital. I'm sure many of you sitting in front of this august audience have seen the world through the hands of doctors of Jubilee. Yet even within all this progress, our core philosophy is untampered: service with love. Quite often I tell my team that technology and innovation are very important in the era of modern healthcare, but it should not replace the human touch and the human nurturing. In a rapidly evolving healthcare world, Jubilee remains a beacon of ethical medical practice. Our mission is simple yet profound: transforming lives with love. Demonstrate that excellence and compassion can coexist. This belief drives our work, inspires our staff, and shapes our vision for the future. While technological advancement and operational efficiency have improved healthcare, profit-driven practices sometimes overshadow patient care. Unethical interventions, inflated charges, and misaligned incentives have eroded the trust of our healthcare delivery system. I am now reminded about the book personally gifted to me by Dr. Adenwalla titled Healers and Predators, which explicitly points out the possible systemic flaws in today's healthcare. In this context, we are really afraid that in the decades to come, ethical healthcare delivery will be an oxymoron in most of the healthcare delivery systems. For us, missionary healthcare is more than a principle. It is our daily commitment: service over profit, compassion over convenience, and dignity over agility. It is about seeing the patient, not just the disease alone. This philosophy drives our work, inspiring us to expand through communities, health initiatives, affordable healthcare. This is what our founding Bishop Alapat, the founding director Msgr Mathew Muringathery, and the current leadership, Mar Andrew Starrett, Martoni, our director Rennie, and others propound and instill in us continuously. Dr. Adenwalla. It is impossible for us to articulate the story of Jubilee Mission Medical College without acknowledging the tremendous influence that Dr. Adenwalla had on us. To me, he has always been more than a mentor. I remember countless evenings I spent with him, engaged in conversation that went beyond clinical care. He discussed about the meaning of compassionate treatment and how a medical institution should work with limited resources. I have innumerable personal experiences with Dr. Adenwalla that I chew the cud off. But the time doesn't permit it to speak about all. But may I be permitted to talk about two experiences that I had. 5 years before Dr. Adenwalla left us, few of us thought of giving an award, try for an award. After a couple of days, somehow he came to know about it, and he called me in my mobile and said he wants to meet me. I said, I'll come to your office. Most of you who have worked with Dr. Adenwalla would know he speaks immaculate British English. He said, I called you and I will come to your office. He came to my office and asked me to give me a piece of paper and pen. I gave it to him. After that, he did not utter a word. He wrote in that white paper a sentence. He said, you are one of my best friends. If you ever try to pursue what you are doing now, this will be the last time that I will communicate with you. I chose to continue my communication with him. He never worked for laurels. He worked because of his true character. 3 months before he passed away, one evening when I came for an evening walk, at the age of when he was 90 years old, I saw him in front of the casualty. I asked him, why are you here in this late evening? He said, it's not unusual. I came for my evening rounds to see a patient that he operated at the age of 90 in that morning. And that was Dr. Adenwalla. I can speak about many examples, but his is a tradition of reflection and learning that we try to carry. I personally had the privilege of witnessing some of the most profound ideas shared by Dr. Adenwalla Oration by our previous orators in the last few years. Last but not the least, may I take the privilege to introduce and formally welcome once again Dr. Shashi Tharoor. I don't think I can speak in front of Dr. Shashi Tharoor without an element of apprehension. Because I am cognizant today that I am standing in front of one of the finest and impeccable speakers that I have ever seen in my life. Not only because of that, but also as the film star Innocent in a famous movie, Papi Apacha, said, he speaks about his envy and the style and the passion and the handsome that he carried forward. Dr. Shashi Tharoor is the most dazzling political leader in our country today. For this year's oration, selecting Dr. Shashi Tharoor was a deliberate and thoughtful choice. We have been trying for the last couple of years to have Dr. Shashi Tharoor to grace Dr. Adenwalla Memorial Oration. Thanks to Srinivasan sir, Pravin sir, and Father Terrin who established the connect. Born in London in 1956 and educated across India and the United States, Dr. Shashi Tharoor completed PhD at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, Tufts University, becoming the youngest person at the time to have ever done so. At the United Nations, he served as a peacemaker, refugee worker, and administrator, culminating his role as Under Secretary General during Mr. Kofi Annan's tenure. In 2006, Dr. Manmohan Singh led government of India nominated him for the Secretary Generalship of the United Nations. In the contest that followed, Dr. Tharoor emerged as strong second to South Korean's Ban Ki-moon. Dr. Tharoor is also an award-winning, internationally best-selling author of over 25 books of both fiction and non-fiction. He has won a score of prestigious literary honors, including the Commonwealth Writers' Prize, the Crossword Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Sahitya Akademi Award, India's second highest literary prize, in the category of English non-fiction for an era of darkness, his magisterial indictment of the British Raj. He has been recognized globally as a global leader of tomorrow by the World Economic Forum, hailed as the New Age Politician of the Year by NDTV, and the government of France conferred on him their highest civilian honor, the Chevalier de la Légion. In India, he has held significant political positions, including Minister of State for External Affairs and Minister of State for Human Resource Development, and currently chairs the Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs, apart from being the Member of Parliament of the capital city, the Thiruvananthapuram constituency. From nearly 3 decades of service at the United Nations to representing Thiruvananthapuram, the Indian Parliament, he has exemplified the integration of service, diplomacy, and ethical decision-making. He had consistently championed human rights, global peace, and the vision of an inclusive and just India. For this year's Dr. Adenwalla Memorial Oration, may I profoundly present to you our pride, Dr. Shashi Tharoor.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Benny, for that very generous introduction. Your Grace Archbishop Mar Andrews Thayuth, Mrs. Gulnar Adenwalla, our awardee and honoree, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh, the many other respected dignitaries here, distinguished professors, faculty, teachers, doctors, dear students, friends, I hope that covers everybody. Ellavarikkum ente vinithamaya namaskaram. It's a profound honor to deliver the Dr. H.S. Adenwalla Memorial Oration at Pelecanus 2025, an occasion that carries clearly both solemnity and celebration. We gather not merely to recall the past with reverence for this great individual we are honoring today, but to recommit ourselves to the timeless vision that animated him and the Jubilee Mission Hospital, a vision of compassion, service, and healing for all. I've been honored by Mrs. Adenwalla putting a sash on me, and I couldn't help notice that on the sash are the words, "Service with love." That is not something you find in too many hospitals. And that, I think, in many ways is going to encapsulate the theme of this oration today. When Msgr. Mathew Muringathery laid the foundations of Jubilee Mission Hospital in 1951, his dream was not of a profit-making venture, but of a sanctuary where the suffering poor could find refuge. He believed with gospel simplicity and prophetic foresight that healthcare must not be chained to economics, but dedicated to service. His motto, "Transforming lives with love," was no mere slogan. It was an ethic, lived daily, carried in the footsteps of every nurse, every doctor, every attendant who looked upon a patient not as a burden, but as a fellow child of God. Dr. H.S. Adenwalla embodied that founding vision with astonishing brilliance. Born in Ahmednagar in 1930 and trained in Mumbai, Dr. Hirji Sorab Adenwalla was a polymath in medicine, a surgeon, a teacher, a humanitarian, and a visionary. After turning down an opportunity to work with Dr. Albert Schweitzer in Africa, he chose instead to serve at the Jubilee Mission Hospital in Thrissur, arriving in 1959 when it was still a fledgling dispensary. Over the decades, he transformed it into a beacon of surgical excellence, especially, as we saw in the lovely video that began the evening, in cleft lip and palate care, where his innovations earned global recognition. He was a founding figure in India's cleft surgery movement, revered for his technical brilliance, compassionate care, and unwavering commitment to the poor. Patients knew him as the Sahib Doctor, a man of humility in khaki shorts who treated all with dignity. His legacy lives on in the Charles Pinto Center, in the thousands of lives he healed, and in the ethos of service he instilled in generations of caregivers. Over 6 decades of unwavering commitment, he performed more than 23,000 cleft lip and palate surgeries, each not merely a procedure, but a restoration of dignity, hope, and identity. His partnership with Smile Train was not about statistics, not about international acclaim. As we heard from Dr. Benny, he never looked for acclaim. It was about affirming that the poor child in Thrissur was every bit as deserving of care as the privileged child in New York or London. Dr. Adenwalla's life reminds us of a profound truth. Excellence in medicine is measured not merely by technique or scalpel, but by the depth of love with which it is offered. Once again, the sash speaks. Service with love. So I'm proud to stand here and address you all today in the hospital in which he served. Founded in 1952 by the Catholic Archdiocese of Thrissur, Jubilee Mission Hospital has grown into one of Kerala's most respected medical institutions, and if I understand correctly, its #1 ranked medical college. Today, it is a 1,500-bed multi-specialty hospital, a full-fledged medical college, a nursing college, a school of allied health sciences, and a thriving research institute. Still known locally as the Poor Man's Hospital, it has never wavered from this motto of service with love. Jubilee Mission provides super specialty care at subsidized rates, trains hundreds of medical professionals annually, yes, some of whom I addressed here in 2007, 18 years ago, and it has become a referral center for patients from across central Kerala. Its aspirations are bold yet grounded to expand its outreach to rural communities, to deepen its research in public health, and to continue being a sanctuary where no patient is turned away for lack of means. It stands as a living testament to what faith-based service can achieve when guided by compassion and competence. And the name Pelecanus, as Father Rennie has told us, encompasses themes of sacrifice, of care, of protection, of community, and of nurturing, so appropriate for the mission of the Jubilee Mission Hospital. Today, however, we meet at a crossroads. Healthcare has made astonishing progress. Genome editing, AI-aided diagnostics, robotic surgery, personalized medicine. Miracles unthinkable a generation ago are today daily realities. Yet these marvels unfold against a backdrop of deep crisis. Mutating microbes, pandemics like COVID-19 knocking at our doors, brain-eating amoebae in our freshwater bodies, zoonotic spillovers from a fragile environment, lifestyle diseases born of consumerism, and the cataclysm of climate change disrupting the very conditions for life itself. But for the ordinary citizen, perhaps the deepest wound is not disease itself, but its cost. The corporatization of more and more of our private hospitals has created an emphasis on revenue, where the accounts department is more important than the medical treatment. Corporate pressure to increase revenues has outstripped the emphasis on care and cure, forget about love or service. Too often, a family struck by illness finds itself struck doubly by ruinous debt. Hospitals rise as glittering citadels of technology, but their doors open more readily to the wealthy than to the weak. Bills expand faster than hope, and we are left to ask, will the future of medicine be a story of healing or of exclusion? This is the danger of a purely corporate presence in healthcare. When profit becomes the compass, ethics stumble into the shadows. We see this in overprescription, in doctors pressured to order unnecessary procedures, in the transformation of suffering into market opportunity. Can compassion survive in such a climate? Can corporate culture ever substitute for a physician's personal touch? Can spreadsheets calculate the tears of a mother, or balance sheets capture the smile restored to a child's face, as Dr. Adenwalla so often did? The era of corporate profits is at odds with everything he stood for and lived for all his life. And yet corporate institutions have one notable advantage. They can marshal immense financial resources to invest in cutting-edge facilities, medical technologies, and advanced research. Many breakthroughs in cancer care, cardiac interventions, and robotic-assisted surgeries were made possible precisely because corporations had the means to build state-of-the-art laboratories, sponsor clinical research, and attract global expertise. This capacity for investment, if rightly harnessed, can complement the missionary ethos and strengthen our healthcare ecosystem. The challenge for us, therefore, is not to reject corporate participation, but to ensure that the resources of the corporates are directed towards equity as well as excellence, that excellence and compassion can truly coexist. What, after all, makes human beings compassionate, even towards other creatures that share neither our tongue nor our form? Science offers one part of the answer. Deep in our brains, as some of you students here certainly know, mirror neurons fire when we see another in panic or in pain. Oxytocin flows, prompting trust and nurturing care. Faith offers another. This is no mere accident of biology, but the stamp of the divine upon us. The command to love, to show mercy, to see the sacred in the face of every other. Thus science and spirituality converge. Compassion is not weakness, but the highest expression of humanity. Civilization itself was built on this foundation. Empathy forged community. Love sustained societies. To feed the hungry, to heal the sick, to shelter even a small bird from the rain, these are not luxuries, but the bedrock of moral progress. Without compassion, civilization is but machinery. Without love, humanity is mere arithmetic. In this light, the missionary concept of healthcare is not quaint nostalgia, but still an urgent necessity. To appreciate this, let me step back a little into church history. The contribution of Christian missionary institutions to India's healthcare landscape is a legacy of quiet transformation. From the mid-19th century onward, missionaries, particularly from the Catholic but also from the Protestant tradition, played a pioneering role in bringing organized medical care to regions that had long lacked access. In Kerala, this legacy is especially pronounced in institutions like the CMS Hospital in Kottayam, founded as early as 1834, which laid the groundwork for a tradition of compassionate service that continues to this day. Across Travancore, Cochin, and Malabar, the church established hospitals, leprosy asylums, and general clinics that served not only the faithful, but the poor and the marginalized of every caste and community. The Carmelite, Jesuit, and Franciscan congregations were instrumental in this effort, not merely as benefactors, but as builders of systems, training nurses and midwives, organizing community outreach, and embedding healthcare within a broader ethic of dignity and service. St. Joseph's Hospital in Manantawari is just one example of how these institutions became lifelines in remote and underserved areas. In Kerala, as we all know, the Catholic Church's role in healthcare is far from history. It is a living, still evolving mission. Hospitals like Lizzie in Ernakulam and this wonderful Jubilee mission in Thrissur have become synonymous with ethical, affordable, and yet high-quality care. They have nurtured generations of caregivers, many of them women, whose quiet professionalism has uplifted entire communities. These institutions have also embraced modernity, integrating advanced medical technologies while retaining their core commitment to service over profit. Kerala's Christian medical institutions remain pillars of public health, blending clinical excellence with a deep ethic of service. Across the state, over 35 nursing colleges and dozens of hospitals are run by church bodies such as the Catholic Health Association of India, CHAI, the Kerala Catholic Bishops' Council, KCBC, and various other congregations, including Orthodox and Protestant. These institutions are not only known for their affordable and ethical care, but also for pioneering nursing education, especially for women, and for reaching underserved populations in tribal and coastal regions. From Caritas Hospital in Kottayam to Pushpagiri in Tiruvalla, they have built reputations for clinical integrity and spiritual compassion. Their graduates serve across India and abroad, carrying forward a legacy of healing rooted in humility and human dignity. In an era where healthcare is increasingly commodified, the Church's healing ministry stands as a moral compass. It reminds us that medicine is not merely a transaction, but a vocation. That the sick are not mere clients, but fellow human beings deserving of our empathy and care. As we look to strengthen India's public health systems, we would do well to remember and to honor the foundational role played by these missionary institutions, whose legacy is written not in headlines, but in lives saved and suffering eased. The relevance of this approach today is threefold. First, accessibility. Mission hospitals remind us that care must prioritize the excluded, not the affluent. This ethos laid the foundations for India's post-independence medical missions, from rural health initiatives to tuberculosis campaigns, and remains essential if we aspire, as we should and must, to universal health care for all Indians. Second, holistic service. Corporate medicine, as I said earlier, is often procedure-driven, but missionary medicine is people-driven. It heals not only the wound, but the whole person, addressing body, mind, spirit, and community together. That is holistic service with love. And third, ethics over economics. Dr. Adenwalla, Dr. Valiathan, Dr. Keshavan Nair, countless others, I don't want to single out specific people, They've all proved that compassion and competence are not opposites, but allies. The missionary model insists that empathy enhances excellence rather than diminishing it. It is therefore vital for our country to maintain both a strong public sector healthcare system and a robust missionary network. Together, you create the safety net that corporate institutions alone can and will never provide. The public sector ensures reach, scale, and equity, while missionary hospitals rooted in service address their needs with compassion and a human touch. In Kerala, much of our state's enviable health achievements, our high life expectancy, low infant mortality, and extraordinary primary healthcare penetration owe as much to the Christian missionary hospitals as to government policies. The Christian missionary hospitals pioneered medical education, maternal care, and specialty services when other institutions were still absent. And they continue to carry the legacy of reaching the most deprived. Without their contribution, the Kerala model of health would be incomplete. So when we boast today, as we started doing from last week, that our infant and maternal mortality rates in Kerala are actually better than those of the United States, which is true, let us salute the church as well for its pioneering role in making such a record possible. Equally transformative, of course, was the church's role in education. Missionaries introduced modern schools that opened the doors of literacy to marginalized communities, Dalits, fisherfolk, women who had long been excluded from learning. The CMS College in Kottayam, 1817, the first Western-style college in India, became a cradle of higher learning, while mission schools across the states accelerated Kerala's literacy revolution. Girls' education in particular received a huge boost, with convent schools providing opportunities that shaped generations of teachers, nurses, and social leaders. The synergy between education and healthcare created by these missions helped Kerala achieve what became known as the Kerala model: high literacy, low infant mortality, and life expectancy levels rivaling the developed world. I would particularly wish to commend the Church's role in promoting medical education, emphasizing that the practice of medicine is not merely a profession, but a calling, and how fitting that Jubilee Mission, where we stand today, is indeed widely hailed as the best medical college in the state. But new hurdles constantly emerge. The COVID-19 pandemic revealed the fragility of even the strongest health systems. It exposed staggering and surprising inequities in access to treatment, the vulnerability of migrant workers, initial shortages of personal protective equipment for doctors, including such basic items as masks and gloves, problems in obtaining sufficient supplies of oxygen, and the crushing strain on doctors and nurses, and on some hospitals even for adequate space. COVID-19 will not be the last of our pandemics, and the challenges it revealed must be confronted and resolved before the next pandemic hits us. As pathogens mutate, as traffic between species accelerates, and as climate change disorients entire ecosystems, public health must now battle on multiple fronts simultaneously. This is where the One Health vision becomes indispensable, recognizing that to cure humanity, we must also cure our relationship with nature. The next pandemic may emerge from who knows where, melting permafrost, vanishing forests, or a laboratory mishap, who knows? Our preparedness must rest on networks that integrate public institutions, global collaborations, corporate investment, and missionary hospitals that can reach the grassroots when the next crisis strikes. Let us be clear. Technology must serve humanity, not replace it. Artificial intelligence may read an X-ray in seconds, but it cannot listen to the fear in a patient's voice. Robotics may perform a delicate surgery, but it cannot wipe away the tear of a suffering child. Hospitals must remain sanctuaries of compassion, not cathedrals of commerce. India's aspiration must not be a two-tiered system, glittering hospitals for the affluent and empty promises for the poor. We must find the balance between science and spirit, between investment and ethics, between corporate profits and the missionary ethos. Let us remember, a hospital without compassion is but a building, and a doctor without the spirit of service is but a technically qualified salesman. But when science is infused with love, when healing is infused with empathy, medicine rises to its true dignity, not as a career, but as a calling. In honoring Msgr Muringathery's vision, in recalling the genius of Dr. Adenwalla, in saluting the living labor of Dr. Ajit Gurbachan Singh, we are called to rededicate ourselves today to that central mission of transforming lives with love. That mission must flow not only through missionary hospitals, but through every institution of care in our country. The true test of any civilization is how it treats its weakest members. Mahatma Gandhi reminded us of that. And how wisely it guards the earth that sustains them. Today's ecologists remind us of that. If we marry the miracles of science with the ethics of compassion, if we harness corporate efficiency without extinguishing missionary love, then perhaps we may not only conquer disease, but heal humanity itself. Thank you for giving me the great honor of addressing you today, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking oration, which enriched our understanding of the critical topic, service with love. I request you to please join the dignitaries of the dais.
So just like we said in the beginning, we have gathered to honor the legacy of Reverend Monsignor Mathew Muringathery and our beloved Dr. H.S. Adenwalla, and recognize individuals who embody similar values of compassion, dedication, and service. Our program celebrates the missionary spirit that continues to inspire and transform lives.
Over the next few minutes, let's pay tribute to that remarkable individual, and I'm excited to share their stories with you. Let's begin this journey of reflection, appreciation, and celebration. And now, let's all take a moment to learn more about the inspiration behind our program. Please join us in watching a short video about the Pelecanus, a symbol of selflessness and compassion that embodies the spirit of our mission.
Pelecanus is a solemn occasion to remember, honor, and celebrate the spirit of missionary healthcare that defines Jubilee Mission. This function is organized to honor our founder director Msgr Mathew Muringathery and our beloved Dr. H.S. Adenwalla. Msgr Mathew Muringathery served Jubilee for 4 decades. Through his tireless dedication, a small dispensary grew into a super specialty hospital founded on the mission of transforming lives with love. Equally inspiring is the legacy of Dr. H.S. Adenwalla, who served Jubilee for more than 60 years. With unmatched devotion, he performed over 23,000 cleft lip and palate surgeries free of cost, winning global recognition as a true smile maker. His collaboration with Smile Train brought hope and healing to thousands of families. In memory of these visionaries, Jubilee instituted the Msgr Mathew Muringathery Memorial Healthcare Missionary Award and Dr. H.S. Adenwalla Memorial Oration. In the previous years, the stage has been blessed with remarkable personalities who carried forward this legacy. The Msgr Mathew Muringathery Healthcare Missionary Award has honored dedicated healthcare missionaries such as Dr. H.S. Adenwalla in 2022, Dr. Alan Davis Alapad in 2023, and Dr. John C. Umman in 2024, each of whom has embodied the spirit of missionary service, serving the less privileged population with compassion and dedication. Likewise, the Dr. H.S. Adenwalla Memorial Oration has been graced by distinguished speakers such as Dr. Firdaus Adenwalla in 2022, Padma Bhushan Dr. Farooq Udwadia in 2023, and Mr. Tushar Gandhi in 2024, whose words have enlightened, inspired, and reaffirmed the values that this institution upholds. This year, the Msgr Mathew Muringathery Memorial Healthcare Missionary Award is conferred on Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbhajan Singh, who has dedicated more than 50 years of service in Odisha and Chhattisgarh. His missionary healthcare services aligns closely with the vision of our founder director. The Dr. H.S. Adenwalla Memorial Oration is graced by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament, an acclaimed author, statesman and orator, whose presence and message are an inspiration for all of us. We warmly welcome you to Pelecanus 2025. Let us remember our pioneers, honor our missionaries, and renew our commitment to Jubilee's mission, transforming lives with love.
Yes, and that was Pelecanus 2025. And we have come to the second segment of the session, presenting Msgr Mathew Muringathery Healthcare Missionary Award. I request all the dignitaries of the dais to please come forward to the stage and take your seats for the award function. His Grace, Mar Andrew Starrett,
His Excellency Mar Tony Neelankaval,
Dr. Shashi Tharoor,
Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbhajan Singh,
Reverend Father Rennie Mundankurian,
Dr. Benny Joseph Neelankaval,
Dr. M.A. Andrews,
Dr. Shibu C. Kallivalapil,
and Dr. P.R. Varghese.
We have the great honor of welcoming His Excellency Mar Andrew Starrett, Archbishop of Thrissur Archdiocese and Chairman of Jubilee Mission Hospital Trust, to the stage to deliver the presidential address.
Dear Jubilee family members, Bishop Tony, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbhajan Singh, Father Benny, Dr. Joe Varghese, Principal, and the faculty members, especially Dr. Gulna Adenwalla and family, family members of Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbhajan Singh, staff, students, and my friends. Really, it is an honor for me to stand before you to say that we have today really a day of honor and remembrance. At the very outset, I would like to congratulate and thank Dr. Shashi Tharoor for having given us a wonderful oration. It was really enriching. And we really thank you, not only for an erudite speech, but also the vision which you have given us. Thank you, Dr. Shashi Tharoor. And we are really touched by the word Pelecanus. You know what it is. Pelecanus symbolizes the big bird pelican, which feeds the birds with the blood of its chest. It symbolizes sacrifice, as Dr. Theresa told. It symbolizes love, protection, caring, nurturing. And therefore, this Jubilee Mission Medical College, which has come today as the best medical college in Kerala and one of the first 8 medical colleges in India, it is because of the care, Pelecanus, love of so many people, starting from his founder, Bishop George Alapat, founder director, Father Mathew Muringathery, and the first doctor or the best doctor, Dr. Adenwalla, along with Dr. Varghese Paul and many others. I'm proud to say that I have associated with these people. It's Bishop George Alapat who admitted me for my priestly studies in 1967. I had the great occasion to be along with Father Mathew Muringathery, who stayed in the Bishop's house for 44 years and served the Jubilee Mission College right from its inception. So I also was there, staying along with him. And during this period, I still remember how he narrated the experiences when he found out in Bombay, he found out Dr. Adenwalla and how he was ready to come to such a unknown place, so to say, to this rural area. At that time, it was more or less a rural area, and he was ready to commit himself to work for the poorest of the poor. And Dr. Adenwalla, I think at one of the orations, I had to express my experience with Dr. Adenwalla. It was in 1968 when my mother was admitted with serious sickness, and the seminary was in the Jubilee campus itself. And he saw me as a seminarian, a 16-year-old boy, walking here and there and to the hospital. And he saw me. I mean, I was rather anxious about the health of my mother, and she died soon. Dr. Adenwalla called me personally. Come, what boy, what is the problem with you? And I said about my mother, I saw her, I understand. And I saw him, a paternal figure, father figure, a loving father, who cared personally, not only for the patient, but also the relatives. And I experienced the love of Dr. Adenwalla on that very particular day. Then I had being a seminarian, priest, and I stayed at the bishop's house for about 32 years now as a bishop, for 22 years now. And I could experience what Dr. Adenwalla was, who Father Mathew Muringathery was, and how, so they were really symbols of Pelecanus, symbols of sacrifice. Dr. Theresa has really found the vision and mission of the Jubilee. It said, he quoted the motto from the shawl. You often quoted the motto, it is service with love. Jubilee stands for service. Today it is an era of corporates. And many speak about health industry, education industry, social industry. And we experience what is the difference between, many people have told me the difference between a Jubilee and some of the corporate hospitals. And the difference of the way of treatment as well for the expenses. We are committed for ministry, not for industry. We want that the best education is to be received by all, irrespective of caste and creed. The best education for the least possible expense. And we stand for best treatment for the least expense, least fare. And that's why we stand for it is a service. And we are at the service of love, at the service of life. And that's why whoever come, we have got ethical means in such a way we stand for life, not for death. And that's why we have 3 words which are which are in the forefront. We want quality in education, in healthcare, in social care, in whatever be. That's why Dr. Shashidhar was mentioning about the aspect of medical service as well as mission service, or from God and from doctors. So what is the you are referring to just now as we are sitting there? We stand for quality, but not mere quality. The other day, I had to speak about what you want about success and so on. We said, yes, we want success. All want success. But more than that, we want effectiveness. Success is not the basic norm. We want effective treatment, effective education, effective molding of people. But more than that, I still remember one of the experience with Mother Theresa, with whom I had the great chance of having an interview. Mother Theresa. Many things she spoke about mission, about vocation, about priestly ministry, about religious life and so on. But one word which touched me is, more than success, more than effectiveness, what is important is faithfulness. Are you faithful to the work you are entrusted with? Are you faithful? He asked me, are you faithful to God? Are you faithful to the patient with whom you care? Are you faithful to the student whom you teach? You have to be faithful to yourself. And therefore, not only quality, but more than that, we want values. So in Jubilee, we insist on values. Whether it is in healthcare, whether it is in education, whether it is in serving the poor, we need not only quality, but also values, ethical standards, and more than that. And also we need affordability. So the three words, quality, values, and affordability. These are the three things that will guide us, so that we have to be at the service of love, and we have to be transforming lives with love. We are so happy. This year, we have found a person to whom the award can be given. For Mathew Muringathery award can be given. I understand from Father Benny and Dr. Benny that they have found out the best person for 2025. This is none other than Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbajan Singh. How much he served the downtrodden, the poorest who are in the background. In Odisha and Chhattisgarh, he has been a symbol of service, of ministry, of love, of care. Dr. Ajit Ronald, we are really indebted to you. You are a symbol now. You are a symbol of Pelecanus. You are still young. You have a lot of years to go to serve. Still, your family members are there. We are so happy that from Odisha, so many people have come out here. We thank you. And we wish all of you that this Pelecanus, this oration as well as award giving is an occasion for us, a symbol of hope. This year, the Catholics, under the leadership of late Pope Francis, we said, we are in the Jubilee year. We have to be pilgrims of hope. Now, with you and in you, we find hope. Let us be people of hope. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, His Excellency, for the presidential address. And now it's time to honor our orator. It's a privilege to invite Mr. V.P. Nandakumar, Chairman and Managing Director of Manappuram Group of Institutions, to the stage to bestow Dr. Shashi Tharoor with the Kerala traditional Ponnada as a symbol of honor and love. I also request His Excellency Mark Tony Nilankavil to present the memento. We request the presence of Reverend Father Terin Mullakara and Mrs. Gulnar Adenwalla on stage in this beautiful moment.
I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly pose for a photograph. Let us capture the spirit of this moment. Thank you. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. P.R. Varghese, Research Coordinator, Scientist F, and Organizing Secretary of Pelecanus 2025, who will now introduce the distinguished awardee of today's ceremony.
Respected dignitaries, dear Jubilee benefactors, dear Jubileans, and my dear friends. On this auspicious occasion, I would like to introduce the awardee of this prestigious Msgr. Mathew Muringathery Memorial Healthcare Missionary Award for the year 2025. This year, we received several nominations and we shortlisted to 7 and further to 4. Later, the screening committee selected 1, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurubachan Singh. Dr. Ajit has been serving in a missionary hospital at Ghariar, Odisha, for over 5 decades. Driven by compassion and commitment, his conviction on the dictum, service to mankind is service to God, reflects the vision of our founder director. Dr. Ajit is strongly supported by his wife, Dr. Renuga Pushpa Singh. Better to say a good colleague. Thank you, ma'am, for your encouragement and commitment. Let us take a look at his services.
My name is Ajit Singh, but my full name is Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh. I belong to family of Punjab Sikh converts, and we have shifted from Punjab to Chhattisgarh, and now I am working for last 54 years in the backward area of Odisha.
Service to mankind is service to God. For Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh, these words are not just a saying, they are a way of life, a life devoted to healing, hope, and humanity. Born in Raipur, Chhattisgarh, Dr. Singh chose the path of medicine not for prestige but for purpose. With an MBBS from CMC Vellore and MS in General Surgery from CMC Ludhiana, he carried with him a vision to serve those who have no voice, no access, and no hope. In 1971, when the American Evangelical Mission withdrew from Ghariar, the hospitals and schools they left behind struggled to survive. Into this fragile reality stepped Dr. Ajit Singh alongside his devoted spouse, bringing not just medical skill, but love, courage, and a promise to care. For over 50 years, he has been a guardian of health in Odisha and Chhattisgarh. From community vaccination programs to tuberculosis eradication, from fighting the COVID-19 pandemic to spreading awareness on hygiene, safe drinking water, sanitation, and mosquito nets. He has touched countless lives. He has fought silently but fiercely against alcoholism, opium addiction, and harmful superstitions. He has empowered people with knowledge, hygiene, and hope, changing generations, saving children, and lifting entire communities. His efforts have reduced infant and maternal mortality, seasonal diseases, and the prevalence of HIV and tuberculosis. A former president of the Christian Medical Association of India and now consultant at Evangelical Mission Hospital, Khario, Dr. Singh's life is a testament to compassion in action. Every patient he has touched, every life he has changed, reflects a higher purpose: service to humanity. He reminds us that true greatness lies not in wealth or recognition, but in the lives we uplift and the hope we ignite. His journey mirrors the vision of Msgr Mathew Muringathery and the mission of Jubilee, transforming lives with love. Service to mankind is service to God. Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh has lived this truth every day, leaving a legacy of love, hope, and unyielding dedication that will inspire generations to come.
Now, with the utmost respect, I shall read out the citation. Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh is an exemplary healthcare professional with a true missionary outlook. As a surgeon, director, and now consultant at the Evangelical Mission Hospital, Khario, Dr. Ajit has rendered services across all surgical and medical specialties, often rising to the challenges posed by limited resources and prevailing conditions. Through his leadership in health education, he has been instrumental in addressing social and public health challenges, raising awareness on the dangers of alcoholism and opium use, promoting hygiene, safe drinking water, sanitation, and encouraging the use of disinfectants and mosquito nets. His unwavering commitment to building a culture of health service resonates strongly with the motto of Jubilee Mission, transforming lives with love. In recognition of his devotion to sustained and selfless voluntary service, Jubilee proudly presents this award. May he continue his endeavor with the same zeal for the best of the people that he caters to. Congratulations, Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh. Sir, we wish you good luck. May God bless your endeavors. Today is the feast of Saint Francis Assisi. May his spirit lead you in your further services to mankind. Goodbye, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll proceed with the award presentation to Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh. As we present this award, we request the awardee's better half, Dr. Renuga Pushpa, to kindly step forward and share in this moment of pride and celebration. I also request Reverend Father Teran Mullakara, Reverend Father Sindo Kareparamban, and Mrs. Gulnar Adenwalla to join us. Let's all come together to honor this remarkable individual. I also request Dr. Ajit's daughter to step forward So that let's all come together and honor him.
I now request Mr. Pattabhiraman, Chairman of Kalyan Silks, and Mr. Vijay Kumar IRS, our advisory board member, to bestow Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurubachan Singh with the Ponnada. I request His Grace Mar Andrews Thareth to present the award of appreciation. And I request Reverend Father Francis Pallikunath, Procurator of Thrissur Archdiocese and member of Jubilee Mission Hospital Trust, to present the check.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now it's time to capture these beautiful memories into a photograph. So let's all smile and pose for a quick photo session, capturing the memories of this very special moment. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I request Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurubachan Singh to share his heartfelt thoughts and reflections in a special reply speech. Let's hear from the man of the hour himself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. His Grace, the Archbishop of Thrissur, and His Grace, the Associate Bishop of Thrissur, and of course, the well-known Member of Parliament, Dr. Shashi Thrissur. It is indeed an honor for me to be chosen for this prestigious award. I am most grateful to the committee who has selected me, I believe, out of the many that were proposed. I am also humbled by the fact that you found it relevant to choose me for this award. However, I have a problem with vision, and I cannot read or write these days, and I have to be accompanied by somebody to come this far. Similarly, I have requested the organizers to permit my daughter, Dr. Madhurita, to read my prepared statement. She is an anesthesiologist, so I hope she doesn't put you all to sleep. So you only have to blame her. So I request her to come and take the place. Thank you.
If I put you to sleep, I'm sure Dr. Thrissur will wake you up with the interactive session after this. His Grace, Archbishop Mar Andrews Thazat, His Excellence Mar Tony Nilankavil, Member of Parliament Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Honorable Father Reni Mundan Kurian, distinguished guests, other VIPs on the dais, and honorable ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor for me to be chosen on this occasion for the Reverend Msgr Mathew Muringathery Memorial National Level Healthcare Missionary Award of 2025. May I begin by saying, to God be the glory, great things He has done. Good evening, everyone. I stand before you today deeply humbled and profoundly grateful to receive this honor. After serving in the Evangelical Hospital, Khariyar, for more than 50 years, I can honestly say it has never been about recognition. It has always been about obedience, service, and love. When my wife and I first arrived at this mission hospital, way back on the 18th of January 1971, we were of course much younger, more full of energy, and to be honest, somewhat rather uncertain of the road ahead. Khariyar was at that time the wild west of India, situated in the Kalahandi district of Odisha, barely connected to the outside civilized world by anything resembling a decent road. It had erratic power supply and non-existent telephone connections. Still vividly etched in my mind, in those days, hyenas and other animals would roam freely in the hospital campus. In addition to being a skilled surgeon, one had to be a skilled marksman. One time, a cobra was seen hanging from the door of the ward and had to be killed with a single rifle shot. In those days, poisonous snakes were so common on campus that I taught all my 3 children to protect themselves. And on a personal note, we had a stout stick in every room, and before calling for help, we had to beat the living daylights of that creepy creature and then call for help. The hospital had by then already been faithfully serving in this rural and backward area for 40 years, since 30th of January 1930, a beacon of Christian witness and medical care in rural Odisha. What had started as a 20-bed hospital over the years, with God's grace and the tireless work of so many colleagues, has now grown to 110 beds. When we first came and joined work at the hospital, the mortality rate was high, mainly due to delay in seeking treatment, ignorance, superstitious beliefs, and poverty. We tried to make ourselves available to the poor, with OPD open every day, including Sundays. Our consultation fee was 5 rupees. It became very clear early in our practice that the patients could not be referred anywhere else, as that amounted to them being sent home to die because they simply could not afford the travel or the treatment cost anywhere else. We realized we needed to fill that void and to be their one-stop hospital. And so we gradually trained ourselves in all the relevant fields. At the start, we were able to slowly introduce and establish specialties in medicine, surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, ultrasonography, eye services, and even orthopedics. This has today grown to include a pediatric department, hemodialysis, a full-fledged blood bank, and even a CT scan center. Many a times, patients would be brought by bullock cart, the only form of transport, with their entire face having been ripped off from bear attacks, and an emergency tracheostomy had to be performed to save their life before repairing their faces. Patients were also brought with cobra and crate bites after being initially treated by the village witch doctor. Fortunately, we had a number of ventilators which helped save them. Of course, many times people did not survive, but those who did went home praising God. A great amount of community work is still being done at a big leprosy home, close to more than 100 lepers in the neighboring small town of Titlagar. In addition to the staff educating and treating people suffering from leprosy, regular screening for non-communicable diseases of entire villages is also undertaken. One day, the son of the Sarpanch in the same area came with tetanus. By the grace of God, the child was saved, resulting in the whole village getting motivated to take the tetanus immunization. The hospital had its share of alcoholism and substance abuse. To this end, many patients have been treated and educated on the adverse effects of alcoholism and the use of ganja. Mental illness among tribals was rampant. We addressed them as well, ensuring they were given the right treatment and even electroconvulsive therapy on the campus. With the dirt road connecting our town with bigger towns came truck drivers and helpers suffering from HIV. Some even came in the terminal stages, having been refused treatment elsewhere, knowing the nature of the disease. None were turned away. All were admitted and cared for in the most humane way possible, even when they were deserted by their own families. This in turn also resulted in teaching the people of the area about disease and its prevention. Fortunately, now we hardly see a patient with HIV. Malaria was perhaps one of the worst diseases we encountered, especially the falciform variant. There were countless preventable deaths. We armed our health workers with medicines and mosquito nets and spread the word from village to village. With time, the fatalities decreased. Toward the end of my tenure, COVID struck, as it did every other part of India and the world. But we as a community, as a hospital, were able to hold out against all odds and survive to tell the tales. Oddly enough, without any regrets, I had to take the first vaccination to encourage the rest of the Kariyar community to follow. I celebrated 82 years of my life just recently. As a young doctor in my early 20s, till just a few years ago, I finally hung up my surgical boots after performing more than 82,000 surgical procedures. As a surgeon, I was blessed to have done a vast array of procedures, from laparotomies to sigmoidoscopies to spine surgeries to hip replacements, even a closed mitral valvotomy, all of these at a fraction of the cost, and all of these performed in a rural setup. Looking back, the work was not easy. For many years at a stretch, we too were the only doctors running the place non-stop, with other doctors coming and going at random. There were long nights, difficult cases, limited resources, and many times when we didn't know how we would continue. But then there was also beauty, profound and soul-stirring beauty, in the eyes of a mother whose sick child was saved, in the resilience of local staff who gave everything they had day after day, in the quiet prayers whispered in the wards at night, in the shrill cry of a newborn baby delivered in the wee hours of the morning, heralding another beautiful life. These and such were our happiness and affirmation that we were in the right place. This whole work of healing and wholeness has been motivated by Dr. Ida Scudder, the founder of CMC Vellore, and Dame Edith Brown, the founder of CMC Ludhiana. There is a saying that some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. This honor has indeed been thrust upon me, and there are many who have helped achieve this. While it bears my name, the award belongs to many. To my wife, Pushpa Singh, she has single-handedly managed the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and now she has delivered 3 generations of mothers. I thank her for the hard work she continues to do towards the sustenance of this institution. Without her, this would not have been possible. To my colleagues, Dr. Nibedita Pramanik, Dr. Nitish Chowdhury, fellow doctors, nurses, all staff and volunteers who worked beside me through storms and seasons, thank you. I have learnt much from you, more than I could ever express. To the Kharyar town that welcomed me, loved me, and who stood by the hospital during the Kandhmal riots, thank you. To my children who were sent to boarding schools at the tender age of 6 years and supported me from afar, who sacrificed much so that I could be where God called me, thank you for your acceptance and patience. To the mission board and the church that sent me, thank you for believing in this calling and for standing by us in prayer and provision. And most importantly, to my Savior Jesus Christ, thank you for calling me, equipping me, and sustaining me every step of the way. Any good that has come through these hands is because of His grace. As I look back over the last 50 years, I am reminded of Paul's words in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith, and I pray that I have done just that. This award is not a finish line, it is a reminder that the work of healing, loving, and serving continues, that every patient matters, that every act of compassion is a seed planted for eternity. May we all continue to serve with purpose and commitment, and in the words of my favorite motto, that of CMC Ludhiana, my work is for a king. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, ma'am, who spoke on his behalf for depicting the realities of medicine in its rawest form, which was an elaboration of those big screen videos. And I believe you tried your level best, not being an actual anesthetist this time. Thank you, ma'am.
There is a short 4-minute video, and I hope that will tell you all about what Kharyar is and where we come from.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a true depiction of service to mankind as service to God. Once again, hearty congratulations.
It is now our distinct pleasure to welcome an interactive session with our guest of honor, Dr. Thrissur. Guided by the insightful moderation of our esteemed principal, Dr. M.A. Andrews, this session promises to be both enlightening and engaging. Let us all come together to participate in what is sure to be a truly stimulating and memorable conversation.
Good evening to all. I am Dr. Andrews, Principal, Jubilee Mission Medical College. I am extremely happy, privileged to serve as the moderator for today's interactive session with Dr. Thrissur, Honorable MP. We have got students, researchers, faculties. I have collected questions from all of them and selected 7 of them, and that will be presented to you for answering. So because of the time limit, because I have been given only 30 minutes sharp, 30 minutes you have to stop. That is what I have been told. So I briefly introduce each theme and then ask the person selected for answering the question. If time permits, we'll have few other questions from the audience also.
So we are running half an hour late. We were supposed to leave here at 4, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So
one of the pressing issues in Indian healthcare is outflow of doctors trained here go with the public money and private money to outside to settle abroad. It has got economical, social and moral consequences. I request Dr. Ashwak Nainan to pose his question.
Thank you. Sir, the medical fraternity greatly appreciates the enormous efforts that you have taken to address some of the challenges we face every day in our life, notably that of violence against institutions, healthcare institutions and healthcare professionals. As you are aware, the cost of medical education runs into a few crores for undergraduation and post-graduation, and this is largely met by the families themselves in the private sector. Brain drain impacts and weakens our health systems, worsens health outcomes, and leads to permanent loss of brilliant minds, talent, besides the loss to the family and to the community. What would be your message to give to you, that you would like to give the young doctors to inspire them to stay on in the country? And number 2, I would like to ask you, what policy changes would you advocate to help retain medical talent in the country and strengthen our healthcare systems? Thank you.
there's a pretty obvious answer to that, Dr. Nainan, which is to dramatically expand the number of seats available in government medical colleges and to create more medical colleges. I have to say that I have been utterly mystified by the practices of the Medical Council of India for many decades, which have severely restricted the supply of seats and the supply of such opportunities. Coupled with early retirement ages for doctors who are teaching in their prime, having to leave in their 50s, we are in a situation where we are really guilty of depriving large numbers of people of opportunities they would much rather take in our country. I mean, I have met so many in my constituency, so many anxious parents who have mortgaged their homes to take loans to send their children off to study medicine in Georgia and Ukraine and so on, only because these kids are good enough to come close, but not, unfortunately, good enough to get into the top few government medical colleges which offer affordable education. So unless we can dramatically expand the possibilities of affordable medical education for our middle class and indeed lower middle class families, how on earth will children be able to? I mean, I've met many cases in Kerala where the families could not afford to send their children to Ukraine or whatever, and a very bright potential doctor ended up either giving up the profession altogether or at best becoming a nurse, knowing she didn't have the means to get into a medical college. And this kind of thing is widely reproduced. I feel terrible about this. I've encouraged, wherever possible, philanthropists to come through and provide some aid for some people. But unfortunately, the 1 or 2 cases would be a drop in the bucket of literally hundreds of thousands of people every year who are being deprived the opportunity. So the brain drain happens of two kinds. I mean, there are those who actually do make it to these colleges, have an education, and then take their education abroad in the interest of better salaries. That is certainly one aspect of brain drain. There is a lesser appreciated aspect of brain drain, the people who do medical degrees under parental pressure and have the academic ability to get through it, but at the first opportunity do something like either take the UPSC examinations and become customs officers instead of thereby wasting their medical education, or joining the corporate sector and making larger salaries rather than serving the public. So, I mean, we do have a domestic brain drain as well, not just a geographical brain drain happening. All of these problems, frankly, are a result of the continuation of scarcity, which is a manufactured and maintained scarcity. I think if India were to seriously take a number of steps, just recently I had the opportunity to welcome an announcement by the Union Government Cabinet that they would significantly invest in increasing the number of seats for medical education. But if I remember right, the plan is to create another 2,000 odd seats in the next 5 or 6 years. That is only, again, a very, very small fraction of the demand. I think even if you had 2,000 more seats, you would be disappointing 25, 30, 40,000 students a year who might have the talent, the motivation, the passion to become doctors. So I am at a loss, frankly, as to what else we can do. But I think those are the obvious answers. As a democracy, we can't prevent qualified doctors from going abroad to ply their trade. Not everybody has a conscience like Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh or the doctors here who have chosen to serve Dr. Adenwalla and so on, who serve the poorest of the poor rather than worrying about monetizing their education. But that's an individual choice, and unfortunately there's no guarantee that even all your graduates will necessarily graduate with a conscience. I know the vast majority will, but some would much rather specialize in diseases of the rich, as it were. And that too is something that we can't help. It is, after all, a free country and a free society. But if we can just enlarge the talent pool through investing more in creating more medical institutions, more medical colleges, and offering more affordable seats, then I think we might be able to cover the gap. I mean, ironically, Kerala, in theory, has more doctors than the recommended WHO standard per head of population. And yet there are rural areas where you can't get doctors, coastal belt, tribal areas, and so on, where there may be a clinic, but it's often unattended, or even the nurse is often not on duty. So, I mean, the practical experience of the poor person is what should be guiding our overall macro policy approach. And on this, I'm afraid, until this decision literally last week by the Union Cabinet, we had seen no movement at all for many decades on any serious effort to expand the number of possibilities for a vastly expanding population.
In Kerala, we have got more number of doctors than what is recommended. And in Kerala, what is happening, along with the health awareness, the anxiety, health anxiety has risen. And I request Dr. Govindani to raise your question. He is Professor of Cardiology.
I'm a cardiologist, being in practice in cardiology for the last 40 years. So something which I have noticed during the last maybe a decade, which unfortunately I think nobody outside the medical profession has recognized, is what Dr. Andrew said, that health awareness has degenerated into health anxiety. In the beginning of my career, for example, when somebody had a chest pain, he will go to a general physician, a family physician who will either reassure the patient or send him to a cardiologist. Of late, however, the patient directly comes, I'm not talking about rich people, even the poorest of the poor, directly comes to the cardiologist and wants all investigations, costly investigations done to make sure that he has no heart problem. And the result is, like the demographic pyramid coming upside down, we have hardly any family physician now, and we have a lot of super specialists, which I think is a big drain on our resources, money, manpower. I don't know whether you are aware of this issue. What are your comments?
No, I'm completely aware of it, sir. One of the complications is it affects every one of us with an education is that the moment you have a problem, you start Googling your symptoms. And the internet starts giving you all sorts of dire and alarming possibilities. And then you promptly rush off, as you say, to the specialist that Google has suggested has the answer to your problems. I mean, it really is a widespread thing. In fact, there is even a parody song which you can find if you Google, which opens with the line, "Never Google your symptoms." Because the problem is this, as you quite rightly said, little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, is a very old line in literature. But in fact, this business of anxiety as a result of knowing a little bit and not enough can truly cause a tremendous loss of resources, including people unnecessarily spending money on interventions. I mean, as you say, sometimes people can't afford it. And you know, in our country, so many people don't have any significant insurance or anything like that. And they are one illness away from poverty. I mean, there are people who have literally sold their homes in order to go and attend to a malady which they believe is going to otherwise threaten their lives and their livelihoods and their work productivity and so on. So you're 100% correct, but doctor, you have not just done the diagnosis, you also have to write the prescription and give it to me. As a policy person, I will advocate whatever you prescribe. But I honestly don't have a good answer. I mean, to be honest, doctors are also partly contributing to this in the sense that they too will often want things to be investigated in order perhaps to absolve themselves of any feeling that I somehow missed something or I failed. Everyone knows a little more than they used to know. And so everyone wants to cover their posteriors by ensuring that they have touched every base. So I have to admit, and especially after COVID, it's got worse because all of us who have suffered COVID at the time find that whenever any particular symptom arises, immediately doctors are worried that this is a consequence of something more fundamental that COVID has left behind in our system, and that therefore we need to investigate A, B, C, and D. In fact, today I had such a recommendation in my own case from a doctor. So I can tell you, health anxiety is there amongst doctors, amongst patients, amongst everyone except those who are finally totting up the cash registers. I think they'll be doing all right. But health anxiety is a problem for all of us. So please do give me a prescription, doctor. We'll see what we can work out.
Sir has told you, the wiser you are, the more worries you will have. The more you learn, the more it hurts.
Very true.
So not too much knowledge is better. So going from the medical field, we'll go to the books. And apart from policy, books have the power to shape the nation and its imagination and integration. Many are very curious about your personal recommendations on reading books. I invite Ms. Krishnanjali to pose the question. She is a medical student at Jubilee Mission Medical College.
So as a lifelong thinker and a writer, if you were to recommend any book that every Indian should read to better understand the nation's past, present and future, which book would it be and why?
Okay, I will answer that question, but before I answer it, let me say that honestly, there's never a one-size-fits-all answer to any of these questions. Read what interests you, what captures your fancy, because that's what will keep you engaged with the book, is the first answer. I mean, honestly, I can recommend the things I have read, but I can't recommend things I haven't read, which might actually be of greater interest to you. So look around for yourself, scan library shelves, scan the internet if you must, and see what appeals to you, because ultimately what interests you will keep you engaged, far more than what I'm sitting here advising. But I've often been asked about giving one book as an example. You know, what is the one book that will help you sort of understand the soul of India, one book you'll take to a desert island, all of these, one book. And I must say that the answer that I come closest to giving, and I suspect if you ask the Archbishop, he will recommend the Bible, I will recommend the Mahabharata. And simply because it is not a religious epic, it's a very much a secular work, and it is the most extraordinary depiction of humanity in a way that goes back a couple of thousand years. It was roughly composed between 400 BC and 400 AD, and during that time it was, in Rajaji's wonderful phrase, it was the National Library of India. in that every story was thrust into it. Every philosophical idea, every conceptual idea, every major story, every incident, real or imagined, every fiction, everything was tossed into it. It became this large, capacious, voluminous story, and it was full of human foibles, greed, lust, evil, treachery, betrayals, the works. It's as exciting as a thriller in parts. It's as compendious as a collection of short stories in others. It is a philosophical work. It has the Bhagavad Gita interpolated into it. If you can read the Mahabharata, you will find so much that resonates with the deep roots of Indian civilization and character, including our failings and our foibles, that I think it rewards you perhaps in terms of your question, more than any other single work I could suggest.
I suggest that these books will not help you in the examination. If you ask me, you read textbook of Harrison.
Sir, the big examination that really matters is the examination called life.
Agree.
And for that, there are no textbooks.
Life is just for the sake of completion, sir. Only if you go out of this college, they can leave. That is what I mentioned. So now this is the era of social media. And one participant has a very interesting question, which blends history with today's world of social media. I invite Dia Joshi. Dia Joshi is there?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, you are a politician, former diplomat, a public intellectual, and also an incredible writer. You have this way of narrating history with wit and perspective. So I was wondering, if social media had existed back in the day, which historical figure do you think would have been the most fascinating to follow, and what kind of debates and discussions would you want them to have on it?
I'm going to say truthfully Mahatma Gandhi, because, when Twitter first came out, you could only have 140 characters. And one person who expressed his wisdom consistently in 140 characters or less was Mahatma Gandhi. You'll find sort of simple, profound insights. Work is worship. Very comfortably accommodated in a tweet, right? So he was almost ripe for social media in his time, except social media didn't exist. And so this idea that, when some journalist asks him, Mr. Gandhi, what do you think of Western civilization? What was his answer? It would be a good idea. Perfect tweet, perfect answer. So he was perfect for social media, right? He would have really been able, in many ways, to encapsulate that. What kind of issues? Every issue that he cared about, including why, for example, he thought British imperialism was a sin. Vocabulary he took from the Bible. And he could explain why in a succession of other tweets if you asked him, but he would give you a short and pithy answer like that.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll go to the final set of questions. It's on ethics of healthcare delivery. Sir has clearly mentioned about the missionary hospitals, corporate hospitals, private hospitals, public hospitals, etc. And missionary hospitals are seen as driven by service and compassion, while corporate hospitals focus on accountability, systems, and accounts. There is a question from Vandita Mohan, JCMR. Please.
Hi, sir. I'm a PhD scholar. And I would like to ask about, like Sir said, accountability of employees coming to missionary hospital and corporate hospital. In corporate hospital, there are strict accountability systems like performance appraisal and all, and institutional policies. But in missionary hospital, it is rather governed by, it's a calling rather than a career. So personal commitment and ethical commitment will be more in missionary hospital or in corporate sector. Or what should be the percentage of accountability? Should it be insisted in missionary hospital as well?
No, look, accountability should be for performance, not for the billing cycle. The difficulty is the word accountability should not have to do with accounts, whereas in many corporate hospitals, the pressure on doctors is to increase their billing. So the idea would be that if you are the fellow who has prescribed the most number of tests for a patient, especially a rich patient, so there's no headache in chasing for the payment later, then you are rewarded with a pat on your back. Whereas if you're a doctor who has, perform the most complicated and intricate operation and save the life of a poor patient who then can't pay the bill, as far as the hospital is concerned, you're a dead loss, you're not a hero. And that kind of accountability, frankly, is not what we need. Where the missionary hospital scores is precisely in these areas, as I mentioned in my speech, where the caring is more important than the counting at the bottom of the bill. And so, to my mind, if you are talking about saying that, yes, you need some accountability standards also in missionary hospitals, yes, but the accountability should be, how many patients did you see? If you're a surgeon, how many operations were successful? And if they were not successful, was it because you took on a huge challenge that was not easy to solve, or was it because you just didn't do a good enough job? Whatever it may be. I mean, there are performance metrics in every profession. And certainly, I'm sure that the medical profession is not exempt from needing to be judged by performance metrics. But it should not have anything to do with the size of the bill at the end of the day, but with the quality of care provided and the attention paid and the, if you are a person in a missionary hospital, but you're absent half the time because you're attending to other matters and not paying attention to your patients, there should be accountability for that. On the other hand, if you have done great work for poor people and you have not actually brought much money to the hospital, that should never be held against you and won't be held against you in a missionary hospital, but it would be held against you in a corporate hospital. So we're talking about the same word, accountability, but it means very different things.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mridula from JCMR feels that the term missionary has got a colonial tone is there. So over to...
Hello, sir. Sir, according to your speech, as well as in general, the term medical missionary often evokes a narrow, even colonial image of service, potentially typecasting both provider and recipient. Could there be any underlying motives behind such typecasting? And according to you, who benefits from sustaining these narratives? Additionally, is it appropriate to draw a line between missionary-driven healthcare and corporate-driven healthcare? Can their outcomes be comparable? And where do patients stand in either case?
Yeah, so on the second part, I've already addressed that in my speech. I think that we can't write off the corporates because they bring in a huge amount of investment, and as a result, they develop medical technologies, cutting-edge technologies, which one day all of you will be able to use. Look at that video of Dr. Gurbachan Singh, Ajit Ronald Gurbachan Singh, where he showed you that at the beginning he was working in really primitive conditions, but some of the modern technologies that became possible later, even his hospital, which is a missionary hospital, finally was able to get, you saw the modern computer screens and the later pictures and the video and so on. So, of course, you need to have both. It's just that the corporates are driven principally by profit. The missionary hospitals are driven principally by service. But the products of the hospitals that work on profit, that particularly involve technology, will one day, I hope, also benefit the poorer hospitals and the missionary hospitals. Now, for example, some surgeries are increasingly only being performed by robotic instruments because the level of precision that the robots can bring so vastly outstrips even the most skilled surgeon that many of these surgeries are only being done by robotic arms. And the doctor's role is to actually control a joystick, as it were, or a computer mouse. Now, in those cases, the same sort of surgery for the same sort of problem is still being performed, perhaps in a missionary hospital by a human doctor. But one day, he himself may want to be able to afford or be able to get, maybe from a rich donor with a heart, the kind of facilities that are available in a corporate hospital. So compatibility between the two is in the quality of work that is possible, and not in the approach or the motivation. So that's on the second part of your question. On the first part of your question, we are a country that was colonized. And so there was a very strong nationalist narrative against pretty much everything that came with colonialism. But you'll be probably surprised to note that it never extended to demonizing either missionary schools or missionary colleges and hospitals. That I'm aware of anyway. I went myself to a pair of Jesuit schools and an Anglican college. So as far as I'm concerned, I have benefited from from education imparted by missionaries, and often of the very, very highest quality, by dedicated people who were drawing no salary, but who saw their teaching as a vocation. and as a calling, and of course, dedicated their service to God. And that was their motivation. Whereas perhaps a teacher in a private school might actually be motivated by something else, by money, by the prospects of perhaps an international post, who knows, whatever it may be. Now, individual motivations can vary, but ultimately the quality of the output is what matters. And by and large, I would argue that that these institutions that happen to have been established during the colonial era are not themselves tarnished by colonialism per se, at least not in my consciousness and my experience. But it is true that the word missionary has been attacked by many because of its association with conversion. That is a very old-fashioned association, because most, in fact, we've seen so many encyclicals from the church, from various popes, talking about the importance of interfaith harmony, cooperation, mutual understanding, interfaith dialogue, and so on. Conversion is by and large not the principal purpose at all, and certainly having been through many years of education in missionary institutions, no one ever tried to convert me. They did try to teach me ethics and values, which for them was derived from the Bible, which to my mind are still ethics and values that guide my life, and which would be true, I think, for good human beings of any faith. So, I mean, all I can say is that if you have a notion that missionary equals attempts to convert, then you may have a sort of negative feeling towards it, because you feel somehow threatened that your faith is being challenged or whatever. But that is the only negative association, honestly, rather than a colonial one per se. In some parts of India, particularly the tribal areas, a lot of the missionaries who came happened to be foreigners. And therefore that quote-unquote colonial association might have been there. And we've seen some horrors like the murder of Reverend Staines in Odisha, which was a really gruesome killing, where it was sought to be justified by the argument that this is a foreigner coming to convert our people and so on. Now, to my mind, this is a fringe feeling by a very small minority, which has to be safeguarded against. But in the broader context, if we can sort of convey that the word missionary actually means that you see this cause, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a school, as a mission, rather than as, shall we say, a profession alone, that would be a better understanding of the term than a mission to convert or to harvest souls, or all these other terms that used to be used a few decades ago.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for engaging us so thoughtfully. ഒറ്റ വാചകത്തിൽ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ നയാഗ്ര വെള്ളച്ചാട്ടത്തിൽ നിന്നും കപ്പിൽ വെള്ളമെടുക്കാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചതുപോലെയായിപ്പോയി. So on behalf of everyone present, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for your time, wisdom, and candid reflections.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
And all to the participants, thank you for raising such wonderful questions. With that, I bring this session to an end. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for taking the time to share your insights and engage with your audience. We are truly grateful for your thoughtful responses and the wisdom you have shared with us today. I also thank our moderator, Dr. M.A. Andrews, for making this session truly engaging and for motivating us to keep studying even through this session.
Gratitude is the best attitude. So now I request Dr. Shivu C. Kallivalapil, our medical superintendent, for the word of thanks.
Thank you. Excellent comparing. Very nice good evening, respected Archbishop of Thrissur, His Excellency Mar Andrew Starat, Auxiliary Bishop of Thrissur, Tony Nilangavil Pidave, our Dr. Shashi Tharoor MP, and we have Dr. Ajit, and rest of us are Jubilee family members and dear friends. I am so proud I am standing in the best medical college and delivering the vote of thanks for the prestigious Pelecanus. As many are told, I am also born in this medical college, and I am proud that I am working in a mission hospital. Let me offer a surprise gift to all of you. I want to deliver a doctorate in English literature to all of you for listening our chief guest oration. What an oration! What a speech! What a vocabulary! The global diplomats, your inspiring words. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, we salute you. The guiding light of Jubilee Mission Medical College, our chairman, Dr. Our Pidav, Mar Andrews Tarath Pidave, for your lively presidential address. Thank you, Father, for your blessings. Our auxiliary bishop, Tony Nilangavil, Bishop Head, actually, Pidav is our guardian angel. Thank you for protecting all of us. Our Ajit Ronald Gurbajan Singh. I used to tell my students that we should have a role model. Now I have a role model. It is none other than Dr. Ajit Ronald Gurbajan Singh came with his family and his friends. Actually, one of family member came all the way from Melbourne today. Give them a big hand. And brother of Shashi Tharoor, our smiling face, our one and only director for excellent leadership. We honor to have you, sir. The big thank you to the big brain of Jubilee Mission Medical College. Can you tell me who is that? B stands for? Yes, Billy sir, our CEO. Give him a big hand. We are honored to have you, sir. And our principal, sir, is the best principal of our Kerala state. And he wants to develop this into world level standard. So let his dream comes true. Thank you, sir. We have our organizing secretary. It's the fourth time, sir, is organizing Varghese PR, sir. Sir, visualize this program around 1,000 times, I think. Thank you, sir. You are an excellent organizing chairperson. And we have our gold mine of Thrissur sitting in front of me. It's none other than our Nandakumar, sir. Thank you for your helping hand, sir. And our previous director, Father Francis Palligun, sir, is there. Sir, thank you for your very close to our heart. And Muringathery and relatives and our Adenwalla sir's relatives are here. We love you, madam. And we have our fraternity members. We are having our advisory members. Vijay Kumar sir is sitting here. And thank you for your gracious presence here. And we have the excellent organizing committee. We had working last 1 month. Last 1 month, all of us is together. Our father Terin. Father Terin, along with our Praveen sir and senior sir, all brought our chief guest here. Thank you. And Father Pupadi Achan and Paramangala Achan just left. And Devin Achan, Justin Achan, Sindo father, and our doctors, senior doctors, SKP sir, and Govindaludi sir, our chief of medical service, Alex sir, the person who worked with our smile train department with Adenwalla sir, Narayan sir is here, our Ramesh sir is here, Dr. Rafi is here, Jobins is here, And our HR department did a commendable work. Joshi sir and team, noble, all of them did a great work. And our canteen served us delicious food for us. And thank you for them, and our audiovisual department led by Agil did an excellent work. Give them a big hand. And I want to tell you that finally I never forget the audience. They did this program, brought joy and life to this program. We love you, and thank you. We all love you. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. So as we conclude our program, we'll have our national anthem right now, but I request all of you to please stay back after the national anthem because we have a group photo session. Now, kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I request all the dignitaries to please come forward for a group photo down. For the archives and memories, let's all take a formal group photograph. So please assemble and smile as we freeze this moment in time. I request all the audience to arrange yourself as per the instructions from the photographer. I kindly request the audience in the sideways to please come in the center. We request the audience to please arrange yourself towards the back end so that everyone is incorporated in the photograph. Kindly do not crowd in the front. Please arrange yourself neatly so that everybody is incorporated in the photograph. Thank you, everyone. Now I kindly request everyone to please remain seated as we pay our respects and bid farewell to our honored guest. Let's ensure a dignified exit for our esteemed visitors. I request everyone to please remain seated. Do not exit. Please remain seated.
I request the audience to please remain seated. As we conclude our program, we sincerely thank you all for your presence and active participation. Your enthusiasm and support have made Pelecanus 2025